Day 1, Sam Altman is out. Day 2, Satya Nadella is you're in. Day 3, on the same time, Mira Murati is in. But then suddenly she's not in. And then someone else is out, someone else is in. Satya Nadella is, I'll take all 667 employees with. And then they're like, no. Then Sam Altman is back. So, between all this pinball situation, what really is happening?
Microsoft has, like, we heard ki like they have invested around $13 billion
Yes.
in OpenAI. Interestingly, Microsoft delayed till the point they basically recover their $13 billion. They will take 75% of the profit.
For the last 3 days, if you've been following Google and if you've just been following the news section, it's been nothing less than a big boss show. Today with me, I have Amit Saharad, the co-founder and CTO of PrepLeaf, and we are going to talk about the entire Sam Altman, OpenAI and Satya Nadella saga. Hi Amit, how are you?
Hello. I'm good.
Let's get straight into it. What the hell is OpenAI?
OpenAI अभी तो सब लोग जानते हैं बट नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो कि बेसिकली सबने अपन चैट जीपीटी तो सबने सुना है तो चैट जीपीटी को जो ऑन करता है बेसिकली जो पहले की नॉन प्रॉफिट था बट देन जिसने फॉर प्रॉफिट और जिसने बनाया टू मेक श्योर कि फंड्स हैं क्योंकि नॉन प्रॉफिट को कोई फंड नहीं करता है राइट सो समहाउ तुम्हें जो मनी मेकिंग बेसिकली जो क्या बोलते हैं इसको कैपिटलिस्ट लोग जो हैं तो उनसे पैसा लेके आने के लिए कोई एक तरीका निकालना पड़ेगा ताकि थोड़ा स्पीड अप हो पाए राइट सो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट और बाकी सबसे पैसा उठाने के लिए जो ऑर्ग बनी थी बेसिकली फॉर प्रॉफिट सो दैट इज बेसिकली काइंड ऑफ ओपन है जिसको अपन जानते हैं या जिसने बेसिकली चैट जीपीटी लॉन्च किया काफी अमेजिंग प्रोडक्ट आप तो सब लोग जानते हैं कि क्या है
Isn't ये चैट जीपीटी का कॉन्सेप्ट इज इट न्यू इज इट वेरी 2023 और इज इट समथिंग जो पहले भी था और अभी लाइमलाइट में आ रहा है
2023 में नहीं है मतलब चैट जीपीटी का जो पहला मतलब जो जीपीटी 2 था वो कुछ 2020-21 में लॉन्च हुआ था बट 2022 एंड में जब चैट जीपीटी लॉन्च हुआ एक सुंदर सा इंटरफेस जब लॉन्च हुआ सो देन everybody basically started using it. And then it basically broke all the records. Basically TikTok और जो भी चीजें थी ना उन सबको पीछे छोड़ दिया in terms of user acquisition.
Okay.
Basically more than 100 million users within 2 months. जब दिसंबर में I think launch हुआ था दिसंबर 2022 में से लेकर जनवरी तो तब तक basically it had basically more than 100 million active users.
Interesting. Yeah. But so, I remember I got ChatGPT Premium just a few months ago. Yeah. Because I was bullied into it. The writer in me and the marketer in me was like, "नहीं थोड़ी देर बाद use करते हैं." But as a team, we all started using GPT extensively. From simple things like using for copywriting, for drafts, to some more advanced things as well, thanks to your team on multiple fronts. But just few days ago, on 15 November, Sam Altman came and said कि we are pausing. हम लोग नहीं ले रहे new users. And what is the backstory of it? Why is it that I mean, how can an organization of this size right now say कि हम लोग इतने users को handle नहीं कर पा रहे? Don't you think कि उन्होंने पहले से estimate किया होगा?
Yeah, I think it is more to do with कि I think some security flaws. Not कि users को handle नहीं करें क्योंकि वो चीज़ तो उन्होंने already कर रखी है. Like they already like for example like you wrote a message to GPT right now, right?
Yes.
Like few minutes ago, and it did not respond. So अगर आपका प्रीमियम नहीं है और even अगर आपका प्रीमियम है, so बहुत बार नहीं मतलब like you are capped at like 25 messages per 3 hours or something, right? जो आपके GPT 4 का. So वो चीज़ उन्होंने already कर रखी है. So probably like कुछ security flaws थे जिसके कारण बीच में माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ने भी अपने एम्प्लॉइज को यूज करने से मना कर दिया था चैट जीपीटी.
Interesting. Did you talk about employees not being allowed? Did you know that Apple employees are not allowed to use GPT? There's a very interesting article I want to show you.
Apple being Apple, I think it is
Apple, see this
like
article by
understandable.
India Today.
Huh.
The headline says Apple restricts employees from using ChatGPT at work. Is this just all about the security issue?
Huh? Correct.
What is the most obvious security issue with ChatGPT?
Here, basically, whatever message you are writing through ChatGPT, basically, so that data it can use to train itself further. So basically, if Apple employees they start using ChatGPT, so their information is going to be leaked somewhere, right? So that is basically the reason कि Apple basically said कि
But you don't know, no, if the user is an Apple employee or not.
But
So
why would Apple risk it?
The risk of like a new product being out.
Or even basically, even internal systems. So I mean, every company like, or especially like Apple, Microsoft.
I mean, with data analysis
IBM,
plugins also.
And everything. So like, they have a lot of proprietary tools, proprietary code. So for example, so like one of my friend he works at Oracle. They can't use ChatGPT. वो कहीं मतलब न्यूज में नहीं है आपके बट दे आर नॉट अलाउड टू मैंने उसको बोला सो बेसिकली ओके सो आई एम नॉट नेमिंग ही कौन है बट लाइक सो देयर वाज अ कोड
लेट्स कॉल दिस फ्रेंड भूपिंदर जोगी
ओके सो भूपेंद्र जोगी उसको एक सो दे आर यूजिंग सम लैंग्वेज जिसमें अभी तक JSON पार्सर नहीं है सो बेसिकली JSON पार्सर डजंट एग्जिस्ट
ओके
in that language. So their developers they wrote some code like for parsing JSON, and there was some issue. He had to fix it. I said, go to ChatGPT. It will fix.
Okay.
But he's like, no, we can't use ChatGPT.
Fair enough.
Because मतलब उनका like जो भी systems like obviously ये companies नहीं चाहते like इनका मतलब कुछ भी information leak होगा.
You always risk information being out and
Apple specifically like Apple being Apple like Apple is concerned about user privacy. So
yeah, of course,
I mean
privacy campaign on Apple phones. Yes,
exactly.
Fair enough. But I mean, let's talk about Apple a little more. I was looking at this. Microsoft is all in on AI after ChatGPT. Elon Musk is all in, and Google is desperately trying. But Apple doesn't seem to be creating a ChatGPT competitor openly.
I mean, I agree. Basically, ChatGPT. So I don't remember the name like who said it, but like this guy is like one of the founders of OpenAI, obviously investor. Okay. So he said कि no, it is Satya Nadella. So
the man we will talk about in some time.
So Satya Nadella said कि like AI should be co-pilot. Okay. Currently, it is like autopilot. So, for example, Apple, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. If you pick any of these services, they have AI systems, right? Which basically जो दिन भर scroll करते हैं,
recommendation engines.
That is basically yes. So that is powered by AI.
Correct.
One way or the other, basically.
Yes.
Machine learning AI, जो भी आप उसको बोलो, ठीक है. So they are all powered by AI. That is autopilot. You can't control it. So the reasoning is like, what if we can give a way, or basically like some way, or basically using that AI for like as you wish. So that is basically co-pilot.
Okay. Yeah. You command the AI.
Exactly. What to do. Yeah.
Correct.
And Apple obviously like, I mean, it is using AI. I mean, whatever like its internal products and also probably that is one of the reasons.
Yeah, I remember reading this Forbes article which said that Apple said that they use AI in the core technology, and looks like they won't be going after ChatGPT or creating an iGPT. I have a very
of course, iGPT, and then we are going to clone it. BGPT or something.
Could very well be.
Bharat GPT.
Bharat GPT? Say something.
Seems interesting. ये तो गवर्नमेंट ही फंड करेगी इसको. नहीं मतलब it would be great like if we have basically something for India, so specifically like not in GPT, but there is one problem which we have to solve for basically India. That is speech to text and text to speech. Because usually, like currently, we basically want to transcribe videos. Basically, let's say this recording, right? You want a transcript of it. If you use any basically model which is available right now, so they are really good at English, or basically maybe American English or like some other. But
correct.
Indian accent, they can't.
Makes sense, yes.
So there are people who are basically working on this, but I mean, OpenAI has a model named Whisper, which we are currently using, and
Yes.
we have basically built our own PC.
Yes.
And we have deployed that model over there, but obviously there is some error which is there. So basically, to solve that problem, we should have something like Bharat, whatever, like text to speech or speech to
We
text.
never know, IGPT might be coming soon.
Yes.
But I remember Sam Altman, he had on one of his recent trips to India, he had said that India cannot make a ChatGPT, and he said that don't even try, it's a futile effort. What do you think?
Yeah, I think see, obviously Indians can create ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure there are people who are involved. Like,
let's see how many Indian users are there on ChatGPT.
Indian, definitely. Yeah, Indians are everywhere. Oh, recently, how many Indians?
8.18% of ChatGPT users are Indians, topped by US at almost 15%, which is fine. Very interestingly, the next name is Colombia with 4%. Who knew Colombia would make noise in this list?
But Indians, USA is another population, I think 3 or 4 times at least.
Yeah.
4 times minimum. Right?
Which
will be like usage is like 50% less.
Yes.
Number of users.
Yes.
So problems उनकी अलग है, अपनी अलग है.
I think what Sam Altman was hinting at is it's an infrastructure problem and not a talent problem, guys.
Talent problem definitely नहीं.
हम लोगों ने बहुत कुछ किया.
Like Indians, there are Indians everywhere.
Yes.
Who are basically building stuff.
Correct.
And recently, like Nathan Kamat from Zerodha, so he like just yesterday he posted a post on X, जिसमें उसने बताया like कि Indians, more and more Indians are now going out of India, like to US to basically pursue higher basically studies. Rather, and more US people are investing in India.
Yes, India is a budding market.
They think basically India as an economy is going to grow, but Indians are going away, basically like to US to pursue.
I was listening to, there's a podcast on called the Neon Show, and the ex-CFO of Infosys, Mr. Pai, I am forgetting his full name, Mohandas Pai. Mohandas Pai talked about how we have Indians going there to US and other countries, and he's like, let them go. 2 million, only 2 million are going. Big deal. We have enough number of people here, and the ones who are driven enough to stay in the country and do good things are the ones that we really need. It's an amazing podcast. I definitely recommend it. The Neon Show featuring Mohandas Pai.
See, if people leave India, let's say the person who has done BTech from some of the best institutions in India, some IIT, like the top IIT or whichever is the top college, if they go out of India and do like their research over there, what are we getting? Like, why did we pay our taxes to fund that particular institution?
That individual. Yes. That's a great point. That's a very interesting point.
And मतलब उसकी जगह अगर कोई दूसरा इंसान गया होता उसी IIT में वहाँ जो पढ़ के आता लेट्स से और बेसिकली जो टॉप बेसिकली कॉलेज है तो रिजल्ट और अगर वो इंडिया में रहेगा तो रिजल्ट्स अलग होंगे ना यार.
I mean, like you said, infrastructure and exposure are two main things to talk about. But anyway, I want to circle back to the security problem that you mentioned with ChatGPT. There are two distinct cases that I remember. There was ChatGPT generated fake data to support some scientific hypothesis, and there was a local news from Pune where a lawyer used ChatGPT for something, and then he lost his job because the articles and the stories he used to back his argument did not exist.
I know.
I remember how a lot of
I read
articles
it.
saying that ChatGPT hallucinates.
Yeah, it hallucinates.
What is that about?
See, how does basically GPT work? It tries to predict basically the next word.
Mhm.
I mean, you give a sentence and it basically tries to predict next word, and that's how basically it generates everything. And obviously, like, अभी हम उस स्टेज पे नहीं पहुंचे हैं, मतलब जो ये लोग बोलते हैं ESG or something, right? So like we are not at a stage जहाँ पे कि it can think. I mean, it is not thinking. It is just like some maths that is going on.
Yes.
And it is like probabilistic.
Day 1, Sam Altman is out. Day 2, Satya Nadella is you're in. Day 3, on the same time, Mira Murati is in. But then suddenly she's not in. And then someone else is out, someone else is in. Satya Nadella says, I'll take all 667 employees with. And then they're like, no. Then Sam Altman is back. So between all this pinball situation, what really is happening? Let's actually get down to it and understand. First, let's get into the sequence of events and then understand what's really happening.
Okay. So I think we should start from the keynote. So in the keynote, basically, they announced GPT-4
Yes.
some
We can make our own
preview or
GPTs.
something, assistants, threads, and everything.
Yeah.
Like this is something basically everybody was trying to build, like assistants, right? So they basically built a nice looking basically APIs and basically
Also,
UI.
they also mentioned release that GPT, like we can all make our own versions of ChatGPT.
So that's
Assistants, yeah.
So basically, what we were trying to do at Masai was like we created our own basically internal portal. We called it GPT Central, so that we can manage basically prompts and everything in one place.
Okay.
Because every time, basically, let's say I want to create summary of a lecture, take it. सब लोगों की like कुछ so where do you manage like all these prompts? Like on OpenAI's platform, there is no UI where you can manage all the prompts. कि मतलब ये पहले से है defined. Basically, it is like जो भी assistant है ना, like that is something like which we were trying to build and we have built. Basically, that is what we are using. ठीक है. I mean, obviously, assistants they have added like a lot of other functionalities, which is like you can upload some files, some knowledge base. So, for example, आपके department के let's say जितना भी knowledge है, आपने एक नोशन डॉक बनाया हुआ है तो वो उसको दे दो पीडीएफ में इट इज गोइंग टू यूज दैट एज वेल जब भी आप उससे कोई क्वेश्चन पूछोगे सो दैट इज बेसिकली व्हाट द असिस्टेंट इज ओके ठीक है देन बेसिकली थ्रेड्स एंड आल्सो जस्ट लाइक चैट जीपीटी सो एवरीबॉडी वाज ट्राइंग टू बेसिकली whoever is building a bot so let's say आप अपनी वेबसाइट पे you want a customer to interact so you had to create a bot so right so you like everybody was writing their own code now they have created
centralized code
where even basically non-coders they can go and they can upload basically the knowledge base and basically it will be updated
okay
and because I'm using the same like assistant ID so you don't have to change anything in the code base and basically everybody can basically use like can train or basically update the knowledge base of this thing okay and then basically जब user like आपका जो customer है वो जब interact कर रहा है उस bot से so there is a basically thread of basically chats मतलब उसको अपन thread बुलाते हैं so that is happening so everybody was managing their own threads if your conversation is like too long let's say आपने 2 दिन से एक ही bot से बात करते जा रहे हो तो बहुत लंबा thread हो गया
sad life
and basically ChatGPT has basically some token limit and all
yes
so वो सारी चीजें मतलब
we'll talk about token limit also because then I also want to talk about Anthropic yes
Anthropic
Google has invested in Anthropic.
Oh, I'm not aware.
I will tell you about it.
Okay, interesting. हाँ, so basically like ये सारी चीजें like सब लोग अपना अपना मैनेज कर रहे थे, so they have basically created a platform जहाँ पे मतलब अभी सारी चीजें आसानी से हो सकती है, and they added some new functionalities. Amazing, मतलब we will basically move away from GPT Central to assistants.
Okay.
Now. So after that, I think I mean आपने वो मीम तो देखा होगा ना, जहाँ पे like ये मस्क ने पोस्ट किया था
कौन सा? This is ChatGPT with voice, and this is how they launched it on Twitter.
It's been a long night for the team and we're hungry. How many 16-inch pizzas should I order for 778 people?
For a large group of 778 people, assuming an
778
average of
people.
3 slices of pizza per person, and each 16-inch pizza provides around 12 slices, you'd need to order around 195 pizzas. This ensures everyone gets at least 3 slices.
Basically,
Would you like
this
to
is.
know where to order from, or
It starts with it's been a long night for the team,
Mm-hmm.
and how many pizzas should I order for everyone?
Right.
And 778. That's the total head count of OpenAI right now.
Oh, interesting. So this is basically, so earlier what was happening is कि, so you talk about hallucination, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like अगर कोई maths का problem है, if you
Hmm.
ask GPT कि okay, do 3 into let's say 15, it may say you 44,
Okay.
but it is 45 because it can't do maths. So it is good at basically predicting the next word, but it can't do maths. So now what
I
they
mean,
have done-
GPT failed literature also, so that's fine.
So now they have basically added a functionality to basically execute a code. So basically, if you say multiply 3 by 15, so then it is going to write a code to do this,
Okay.
and then it is going to
Nice.
run the code
Nice.
so that you can do basically some complex.
If it could do just doing
maths
this
and all.
instead, that's fair.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as it's on Copilot.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Sam Altman's exit.
Yeah. Back to Sam Altman.
The board says we don't have confidence and in Sam Altman, and a day later we realize that the statement is.
Sorry.
A day later, the statement comes out that there's been some differences between the board and Sam. And what happened next?
Sam Altman was not candid in his
candid. Yes.
He's never candid. Before speaking, he always takes a long, basically pause and basically thinks a lot, and then like yesterday I was watching an interview. I was thinking, is it ChatGPT talking or is it Sam Altman talking? Sam Altman is like ChatGPT. He speaks slowly and एकदम, let's say, properly सोच के एक word कि what should be my next word. So I think Sam Altman is trying to
ChatGPT is his alter ego.
Possible.
So enter Satya Nadella in this conversation.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they fired Sam Altman and Meera Maruti.
Murati.
Sorry.
Or Murati.
Murati, okay, yeah. So she became basically the CEO, right?
Interim CEO, yes.
CEO, yeah. By the way, like I watched one of her interview again, like same as Sam Altman.
I asked ChatGPT. I actually bullied ChatGPT into saying yes to a very random question. So there was an article I was reading about GPT that GPT said capitalism is better, and people were, of course, on both ends of the spectrum. So I asked, does capitalism work? And then ChatGPT gave me a long answer that I have multiple things to consider, X, Y, and Z, very typical. And I was like, no, give me one word answer. GPT is like, it's subjective. I said, no, your options are yes or no. And then GPT is like, yes.
But if you ask the same question to basically Mark Zuckerberg, kabhi yes or no nahi bolega. That's what happened.
It depends. It depends. Yes, it's subjective.
All the CEOs, जब उनको US Senate जब बुलाता है, they never answer like straightforward yes or no. Literally they shout कि just say yes or no, but they're like they just start answering a long answer. But yeah.
So what is Satya Nadella's role in this entire conversation?
Yeah, I think Satya Nadella is basically obviously a great CEO.
Yes.
Like
no doubt about that.
Yeah. So and basically, if you look at the deal that they have, like the Microsoft has with OpenAI, so we talked about how basically there are multiple entities like OpenAI. Like one is OpenAI, I mean, not for profit. Then there is basically a capped profit organization. It is very complicated. You won't be able to understand it. I also don't understand it. It's like understand it completely.
Okay.
But what is happening is like the entity which is basically for profit, Microsoft has basically is connected to that entity.
Okay.
And Microsoft did
So in
not
simplest sense, OpenAI is a research firm, right? And it has multiple entities.
Right.
Most of them are into research and non-profits, but then there's one version which is supposed to make
Correct.
money, so
Yes.
like a corporation,
Yes.
and that entity is the one who's launched ChatGPT.
Yes.
And Satya Nadella and Microsoft are invested in that entity.
Correct.
Awesome.
So now, I mean, because Microsoft has, like, we heard like they have invested around $13 billion
Yes.
in OpenAI.
Yes.
So $10 billion of them is probably Azure credits or something.
Okay.
And we don't know like for how, like what is the duration in which like they are going to basically execute this thing. But eventually, like, it is not open कि मतलब वो exactly क्या था, but somehow $10 billion for the resources that basically they need.
Okay.
Basically अपन जब ये करते हैं, there are a lot of GPUs which are required, right? जिस तरह processing हो रहा है, so that is happening on the Azure servers.
Okay.
So probably that is basically what the $10 billion means. And interestingly, Microsoft's deal is like till the point they basically recover their $13 billion, they will take 75% of the profit of the basically capped profit org, which is basically like ChatGPT and basically GPT APIs open use current, like for which we are paying, right? So 75% of the profit will go to Microsoft.
My God, that's
13 billion. And then once that is done,
okay.
So like $13 billion अब उनके recover हो चुके हैं. उसके बाद for next 9 like after that they are going to get around I think 45 or 50% of the profit till they earn $92 billion.
My God, that could that could be a long way.
So that is basically 9 times the return.
जब तक तुम्हारे और मेरे बाल सफेद हो जाएंगे, probably Sam Altman Microsoft को पैसे दे रहा होगा.
नहीं, I think उससे बहुत जल्दी कमा लेंगे यार ये. I mean,
let's see. Only time will tell. Also, lot to do with how the company expands, and do they stick to GPT and APIs, or do they bring more products? That also will define the timeline in which they actually recover this money and get out of it.
Right. But like I think majorly because now Microsoft has basically like OpenAI, ChatGPT, or basically GPT is part of Microsoft Azure. Like we can subscribe through Azure, and basically we can basically do everything over there. So Microsoft is basically obviously like very bullish on ChatGPT, and then major I think money they are going to make not from the subscription. So $20 के हम जो लेते हैं, I read it कि basically OpenAI is burning $20 for every subscription. So on an average, basically जो हम $20 का subscription लिए, so probably on an average it is like we are using for $40. But वहाँ सिर्फ $20 ही charge कर रहे हैं. Whereas $20, so they have to pay.
Understood.
So that is happening, but I think they will increase the price over time. Or basically the other way for them to recover money is obviously like through APIs. APIs like we are paying $0.03 per 1,000 tokens input, blah blah blah. So which basically means like ₹1 or something around. Like
we will come to the tokens. What is a token and context of tokens in this, but then so now Satya Nadella backed Sam Altman and his team. 667 people signed a paper saying that they don't have confidence in the board. And Satya Nadella was generous enough to say that I will take all of you along with Sam Altman.
Of course.
Next, what happens next is the board members who had voted in favor of putting Sam out are now like OpenAI had that LinkedIn post yesterday. Right now it has over 2,000 comments.
Right.
Where they talked about we are reconsidering talks. And what an iconic picture now that has become Sam Altman he had put on his Twitter with holding the guest card. Have you seen that?
This is the first and the last time I am
yes
wearing this.
First and the last time I'm wearing this.
Yeah.
So and cut it within 24 hours he's back.
Like it was either I'm never coming back to OpenAI, or I will be
Yes,
the CEO
yes.
again. So, I mean, he didn't basically say anything about OpenAI. If he would have said so, I think it would have been like a different story. It would have been. But this is, I think, the like farthest he has gone. Ki if I start
Exactly, like that. It's very interesting, and I was reading one. Of course, when something like of this magnitude happens, there are bound to be conspiracy theories.
Right.
And one of the very wacky conspiracy theory I read yesterday was Sam Altman is actually the mastermind. ये planned था कि that's why he is not bad mouthing anyone on the internet. He's being very quiet. He's getting the public support,
Right.
and he very categorically put 2 or 3 of whatever board members he wanted out.
Possible.
Who knows the
That
truth?
is, quite possible, and basically they got free publicity.
A lot of free publicity, yes.
Sam Altman, Sama, and basically Greg and basically everybody else, like जितने लोगों ने आपने बोला कि sign किया था वो petition की, तो if everybody goes out, then there is no value in OpenAI,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, it would take a lot of time for them to build something like ChatGPT in Microsoft, probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the value of OpenAI will like potentially go to zero. So I mean,
True.
even, but yeah, I mean, so it is not for profit, वो सब पूरा है.
And for someone like who owns 49% of the company, it will literally be like cannibalizing your own shares from a very business POV.
Yeah.
Because the shares of Microsoft also dipped overnight.
I mean, so interestingly, it happened just after like Friday when the market closed. They fired him, and he was basically back before Monday. So it was like over the weekend.
Yeah, that's also very true. But it was a complete roller coaster.
I mean, so Microsoft hired him before basically Monday morning. I think that's what happened, right?
Yeah. So they were like, we didn't go through.
So
we are
Nadella,
working it out.
Like made sure कि okay, the shares don't basically fall much. I mean, थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर से like every day होता ही रहता है. But apart from that, I think the value अगर वो होता ना, like if अगर वो CEO वापस नहीं बनता, तो I think value increase होता है Microsoft का, because OpenAI में their share is going to decrease over time, right? Like after like 13 billion, so their daily is like 45% of the profit.
No, but I'm saying like because Microsoft is invested in OpenAI, if this move as like you mentioned.
But जो Satya Nadella ने किया कि they are going to hire everyone, so that basically means कि essentially
OpenAI is now Microsoft.
OpenAI is now part of Microsoft, like 100%. So that is way better than having 50%, 45% or 75% of the profit of OpenAI. So I think वो अच्छी deal हो सकती थी, but it would have taken some time.
True.
So
but after the roller coaster, now Sam Altman is back. GPT is back to taking world by the storm, and there are, I think, while all this was happening, maybe some of its competitors were probably getting excited. I don't think Bard, but I want to talk about Anthropic.
Bard is still as bad as it was like 6 months back. Now, like it has some animation. Earlier, it used to throw all the information in one go. Now it has animation line by line. It shows, but I think that is purely on the UI front, so that like they want to give some like feel of ChatGPT. Okay, word by word type करता है. But I don't think that's how Bard works. It gives you everything in one go.
At once. Could also be a differentiator for them when it comes to just from a UX POV. There's this company called Anthropic. It's backed by Google.
Okay, interesting.
It is literally ChatGPT's competitor. And I read about something, their bot is called Claude. And Claude 2.1 doubles the number of tokens the chatbot can interpret to 200,000 and gains beta support for third-party APIs. Now, this line support for third-party APIs is self-explanatory. We know what's already happening on ChatGPT. What does this token mean? The number of tokens the chatbot has.
Number of tokens.
Yeah.
So number of tokens, like you can assume it to be number of words, like roughly. So I mean,
per conversation?
Really? I mean, overall, the number of basically, yeah, I mean, for every time, so like conversation has like two parties. One is chatbot, one is user, right? So the next time, if you want to send basically the same conversation to like back to some GPT model, so it will be like the count of total, right?
It will count the bot's responses as well as my
As well as yours,
responses.
ना,
Okay.
क्योंकि तुम उसको वो context दे रहे हो, right?
Okay.
So basically, like it breaks down those words into tokens. I mean, it is not literally like the number of words exactly, but somehow it is like proportional to number of words.
Let's see how if we ask ChatGPT what is a token? Let's ask ChatGPT
Yes.
what is
What are
a token in ChatGPT?
Yes.
Because why not?
Why not? And it is not answering.
देगा यहाँ पे
Even though
network
you
नहीं
are
आता।
a plus subscriber.
यहाँ पे network नहीं आता है। Tokens are the basic unit that OpenAI GPT models use to compute the length of the text.
Basically, why? Like number of words are basically the length of the text, so it is proportional to that. So basically, some of the basically, so for example, ChatGPT के like GPT के कई सारे models होते हैं. तो I mean, जो हम APIs के through use करते हैं, like GPT-4 का 4K model, then there is 16K model. K means 1000, so 16,000 tokens like it can consume.
Okay.
4,000 tokens it can consume. So वो basically हर एक पे limit लगा हुआ है कि कितने कर सकते हैं. So I mean earlier it was like 16K max था.
Okay.
Now when you are
GPT
saying,
is finally giving us the answer. So basic definition: token is the smallest unit that a language model like GPT can process. While we might think of words as the basic units of language, for AI models, tokens can be smaller than words. Okay. For example, in the sentence, if I were to say ChatGPT is amazing, it might be broken down into tokens like chat, GPT is, amaze, and ing and the exclamation. So even though the actual line is just three words, but the number of tokens will probably be 6 or 7 for the bot.
So I will show you, like I had a small playground जहाँ पे मतलब मैं tokens ही count करता हूँ कितने tokens हैं. So if I say hey, I am Amit. So it is telling me these are basically now there are 5 tokens. Even though like मैंने बहुत सारे
I think we
dots
should have
add कर
some
दिए.
actions to it. I am Amit and I love dancing. Something with an ing.
ठीक है. Now like surprisingly when I add G, so it reduces to 8.
Yeah.
Now it is 10. So it is not exactly the count of the basically like the words, number of words which are there, but somehow basically it is broken
It's
down.
like
into
literally it's
basically-
breaking that word into
हाँ.
possible meanings and assigning each meaning a particular token.
हाँ.
So in a way, loosely translated for the simplest definition, tokens are similar to words in a
Correct.
sentence, but they are more finer. It's not just actual
Yeah.
words. So you try to bring down multiple
Which
permutation
basically
combinations to make sense of it.
Yeah, I mean which the AI model can I mean understand. मतलब वो है tokens basically, number of tokens, and जो limits होती है like that is on the number of tokens जो like it can process. So for example like your system has like let's say 8 GB of memory. So basically like उसे type से like उससे ज़्यादा अगर आपका मतलब कुछ चीज़ अगर आप RAM में रखना चाहो तो you can't, right?
Correct.
So similarly basically जो models हैं उनके वो है like कि it can process 4,000 tokens, it can process like 16,000. You said कि अभी
200,000 Anthropic
200,000
Claude 2.1.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Very
to see
interesting.
that.
I mean, there are models which are processing like 124K. I think probably OpenAI launched something like where we can have around 120K, 120,000
Okay.
tokens.
Cool. Okay, so we are inching closer towards the end of the episode. I want to close it with something a very simple question. Do you use ChatGPT paid version?
I used to. Currently, I'm not. Yes.
Okay. Why did you stop? Did Sam Altman's exit affect you so much?
Yeah. So, I mean, I use like in April. I think I subscribed. 2-3 months back, I unsubscribed. I was not using it actively.
Okay.
I mean, to me, what is the use case? Like, if I have to Google, I have to Google. Like, I can't rely purely on ChatGPT. Okay, I want to do this. And if I have to write something, if I have to explain something to my team, I will have to write it. I can't basically have GPT write something. Like, I can't fully trust GPT. I can't say.
Yes,
okay,
definitely. The lawyer story says that we cannot trust ChatGPT. We can all risk losing our job. Or plus, like you said, the security issues also there. If you're making a new product, you cannot use GPT for it.
Yeah, I mean,
so to say.
That is something like that is not the biggest concern for me right now, because like they are not coming after Masai. But the like, so for example, if I want to build if I want to create a resume builder app, web app, I can ask GPT to write a PRD. But if I ask GPT to write a PRD, as we discussed, it is not AGI.
Yes.
Artificial general intelligence. It cannot think. It can only basically.
It's a co-pilot.
Yeah.
Not an autopilot.
So it can basically kind of browse the internet and give me answers.
Yes.
But it cannot like think and basically write a PRD.
Got it.
It cannot basically innovate.
So when you're using ChatGPT, when you're using the paid...
Oh, by the way, I don't have to use paid version because I use APIs. So I will show you what I do. Okay. So I go here to platform.openai.com.
Okay.
I can create an assistant over here, no?
Yes.
So I create my own assistants where I can use GPT-4. See. So this server wala hai. So
but isn't it are you sure these are ये 4 चल रहा है या 3.5 पे चल रहा है?
I can select which version I want to use. So
wow.
I can be more specific, and I don't have to basically go to that UI of ChatGPT and वहाँ पे करने का.
The 16K is basically the tokens.
Yes. And by the way, when you use this, this data is not. So they won't be using this data to train their models, because this is business. So we are making API calls. So in their like privacy policy, they say we don't train our models or basically use your data which you send through APIs to train our models. But if you use the ChatGPT UI, then you are a B2C customer.
Right. So currently, I can use
like B2B. So
I can use ChatGPT to make a ChatGPT. Basically, we've understood that हम लोग ChatGPT Pro use कर सकते, the paid version. There's a way to use paid version in a free way, in a much cost-effective way. All you have to do is go on platform.openai.com, play around, have some new interesting methodologies to use. We have different models also, different tokens also. You can look at all the pricing. This was really interesting.
Yeah, and you can actually basically use all the functionalities which जो उन्होंने अभी launch किया. ChatGPT में like probably you can't. अभी सारी functionality you can't use, but here you can basically upload your files for the knowledge जो मैं आपको बता रहा था, जो assistant समझ बना सकते हैं. So यहाँ पे ही हो जाएगा. So
this makes it very easy.
हाँ मतलब.
Yeah, I was playing with this. I was trying to make my own version, and it's very easy to use. It's very intuitive. देखो आपको समझ जाता है.
So I think you should also unsubscribe like
on my way
Plus and you start using Playground.
Saving $20 from next month.
No, it is about the basically data, like the privacy.
That too, but money.
$20, yeah, 1600 rupiah.
On that note, thank you very much, Amit, for your time. And thank you for watching and listening.